Hi, these comments are for NH. This is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com, and I'm getting ready to listen to your speaking practice test that you sent me. Let's take a look at the email and say, "Hi, Michael. This is my independent speaking practice. Can you please correct it? Give me feedback to improve it?" Yes, I can do that. So, the topic is some people think that children should be allowed access to computers for only a limited amount of time per day. Others think that children should have unlimited access to computers. Which do you agree with? Explain why. All right. So I have the independent speaking rubrics that I can use to grade the response. And here's your response. So let me listen to it first without making any comments at all. I'll give you my first impression and then I'll listen to it again and provide feedback.
I believe children should have limited access per day, because boys don't have the sufficient skills to manage their time. For instance, last year I bought a computer for my daughter and I permitted her to use it with unlimited time. The excessive using of computer hampered her performance in school. As a result, she could not pass the physics course because she could not obtain the minimum score. In addition, children don't know how to use the internet properly. For example, my daughter didn't know that long hours using of computer can harm her eyes. Therefore, her eyes were enormously affected because of the long using.
Okay. So what I'm noticing, I think two delivery, maybe three language use, and maybe three topic development. That's what I'm thinking right now. With with the delivery here, the rhythm is not the pace is not bad, but the rhythm is not good. So you have awkward intonation, which means you're not varying your tone as much as you should. So my first impression right now is probably between 2.5 and 3. I'm going to say maybe 18 to 19 points out of 30 on this practice test. And one of the things that I think will help you with your intonation is if we go a little bit before intonation in terms of practice, we have what's called word stress. I don't even think your word stress is good, which means when you stress the primary syllable in a word, you need to make that syllable clearer, number one, louder, number two, number three, longer, number four, the one you're not doing is higher pitched. So if you say as a result, right, result, you have to make that higher pitch, that second syllable, because that's the primary stress within that two syllable word, but you're not really doing that. So you need to work a lot on your word stress, especially by making that stress syllable higher pitched. Now, once you've done that, then you got to work on what's called sentence rhythm, which means you put more stress on nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and verbs, and then less stress on determiners, prepositions, and auxiliary verbs. And then once you've done that, then you can focus on intonation. Remember, word stress, sentence rhythm, and intonation, you can practice all three of these. I think I have about 12 accent reduction videos in these three areas. You need to be practicing a lot in those three areas. Okay, let's listen to it again.
I believe children should have limited access per day, because boys don't.
Say limited access, I would say to the internet per day, so that you're connecting that topic statement back to the speaking prompt. And I don't think you need that. Just say children should be limited in their access to the internet because then state maybe two reasons.
Have the sufficient skills to manage their time. For instance, last year I bought a computer for my daughter
Let's say last year. You didn't quite pronounce
and I
that
permitted
clearly.
her to use it with unlimited time. The excessive using of computer
So a limited time, what does that mean? So elaborate on that. Does that mean that she was limited to no more than 2 hours a day, no more than 3 hours or an hour and a half? You want to specify that.
hampered her performance in school. As a result, she could not pass
So as a result,
the physics course because she could not obtain the minimum score. In
she could not pass test scores, a minimum score. What test are we talking about here? We're talking about biology, history, language arts, science. So again, you're speaking in very broad, general
addition,
terms.
children don't know how to use the internet properly. For example, my daughter didn't know that
Now, if you say that, you might say children should also have limited access because they don't know how to use the internet properly.
long hours using of computer can harm her eyes. Therefore, her eyes were enormously affected because of the long using.
Because of the long
I
use
believe
or the extensive use there. Okay, so when I look back at it, I discovered a few more problems with language use. So sometimes your word choice, I'm going to say two, delivery, two, language use, maybe high two in the topic development. So I'm going to put you at 2.5, maybe 17 to 18 points out of 30 on this practice test. Okay, so make sure you take notes when I provide feedback. Now, I got a good lesson to help you with topic development here, right there, right? Go to my Better TOEFL Scores blog. In the search box, you'll see a. No, I want you to type in the search box lacks TOEFL speaking elaboration. As you go through that lesson, think about how you can elaborate. How can you provide more specific detail to support the reasons that you presented in this response? I think that's also a really good lesson for you right now. Now, language use, to help you in that area, again, go to bettertoeflscores.com. In the search box for the blog, type in the keyword. You'll see the search box, the top right hand corner. Type in TOEFL sentence variety. I think that's also a really good lesson for you right now. So I think if you review some of those lessons and remember that just going through uh, these blog posts and then sending me speaking practice to get feedback is not going to be enough. I think that you really need to get your environment, get it into as much of an English language environment as you can. What does that mean? It means change your cell phone settings into English, change your computer settings into English. Make sure you're getting contact with native speaker English. That means maybe listen to 1 hour of TV, radio, music a day, watch some movies in English, try to talk to native speakers in English as much as you can. You need this immersion. The more you immerse yourself in the language, the better control you're going to have, I promise you, in your delivery, language use, and topic development. You know what your problems are. I'm telling you right now, right? You even know specific lessons that you can review to get better, but you have to go even beyond that. You have to work on getting as much exposure to the language as you possibly can. All right, and Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you for sending me this practice test.